Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving deep into the McHenry, Illinois real estate market.
That's right.
And to help us kind of break it all down, we have some insights straight from Michael Linton at Chicago Deal Flow.
Mm-hmm.
You can find all this information and more on chicagodealflow.com.
Yes, you can.
To give our listeners a little background,
Yeah.
Michael has been in the Chicago real estate market for like 38 years.
38 years.
Yeah, he's seen it all.
He really knows his stuff.
He does.
And that expertise is exactly what we need to understand, like what these numbers are really telling us.
Yeah.
So think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet.
Okay.
If you're even thinking about buying or selling in McHenry.
Right.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
The first thing that really stood out to me was this month supply of inventory number.
Okay.
It's just 1.69.
Wow.
Can you break that down for our listener? What does that actually mean on the ground? So months supply of inventory basically tells us how long it would take to sell all the homes currently listed
Okay.
if no new homes were added to the market.
Okay.
And 1.69 months is
That's super low.
really low. It means that things are moving super fast.
Yeah, so imagine you're a buyer. You walk into a store,
Yeah.
and the shelves are practically bare.
Right.
That's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
So what does that kind of frantic pace,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean for someone trying to buy a house?
You can definitely expect a lot of competition. Multiple offers, bidding wars.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be ready to make a decision quickly.
Oh, wow.
Michael cautions buyers to be prepared to move quickly and strategically.
So that brings us to this next stat. Median days on market.
Okay?
In McHenry, it's just 13 days.
Wow.
I mean, houses are just flying off the shelves.
Yeah, it's a seller's dream.
So for buyers,
You really got to...
what do they
You got to be ready.
need to know?
You need to be pre-approved for mortgage.
Oh.
You have to be ready to look at houses on a dime.
You got to have your offer ready to go.
So it sounds like buyers might feel pressured to offer above asking price
Yeah.
just to stand a chance. Is that a common strategy that Michael is seeing?
Yeah, he sees it, but, he always advises a little bit of caution.
Right.
It might help you win a bidding war, but you don't want to overextend yourself.
Right.
Buyers need to set a budget and stick to it even in the heat of the moment.
Okay. So low inventory, super fast sales.
Mm-hmm.
What about the prices themselves?
So the median sold price in McHenry for October 2024 is $300,000.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The list to sold price percentage is 100.3%.
Okay.
So that means on average, buyers are paying slightly over asking price.
Oh, wow. So even with that median price point, buyers should expect to go a little bit above that to secure a property.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This really shows just how competitive the market is,
Mm.
and it shows why having an experienced real estate agent
Yeah.
can make all the difference.
Okay. So we've got low inventory.
Lightning fast sales
Mm-hmm.
and buyers paying over asking price.
Yep.
But there's one number that kind of goes against all of this.
Right?
It's the 12-month change in months of inventory.
Okay.
It's up by 15.75%.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's a big jump,
It is.
especially given everything else we've talked about.
Right.
So what's Michael's take on that?
It's definitely something to notice. While the market is still hot for sellers, this increase could mean that we're seeing a little shift. Maybe we're seeing more homes becoming available.
Interesting.
It could ease the competition a bit.
So is that like a glimmer of hope for buyers?
Yeah.
Is McHenry starting to cool down?
It's too early to tell for
Hmm.
sure. We got to look at the bigger picture. You
Yeah.
know, 1.69 months of inventory is still really tight.
Right.
It's more like a slight loosening rather than a full-blown cool down.
So maybe don't hold your breath for a buyer's market just yet.
Yeah, but it is something to keep an eye on.
So this shift is something to watch.
Yeah, it just shows that things are always changing. What we're seeing in McHenry is dynamic.
Mhm.
You gotta watch closely and make informed choices. That's where Michael's expertise comes in.
Okay, so let's talk about what this all means for buyers and sellers.
Okay.
Let's start with someone who's thinking about buying in McHenry.
Here.
They're facing this crazy competitive market, maybe for the first time.
Right.
What does Michael recommend they should focus on?
Michael says, to be prepared and realistic, don't let the craziness of the market make you rush into a decision you'll regret. You gotta have your ducks in a row.
Okay.
Finances ready to go.
Yeah.
Ready to make a strong offer and do it quickly.
So no messing around in this market.
Right, no dilly-dallying.
Okay, so now let's talk about sellers.
Yeah.
What's their perspective in all of this?
Imagine you've got something everyone wants.
Right.
That's the situation for McHenry sellers.
Yeah.
They have the upper hand and they know it.
It's like they're holding the winning lottery ticket.
All right.
But does that always mean a smooth and easy sale?
Not always. Michael sees a lot of sellers trying to overprice their homes.
Oh, yeah.
They see those high sold prices and figure they can squeeze out even more.
I can see how that would be tempting.
Yeah, but that can backfire.
How so?
If a house is priced too high, it might just sit there.
Right.
And eventually sell for less than if it had been priced right from the start.
Because even in a hot market,
Yep.
getting that price right is key.
Exactly. Michael says sellers should think about their goals.
Okay.
What's their timeline? If they need a fast sale, they should probably be competitive with the price.
Makes sense.
But if they can wait a bit, they might try a slightly higher price.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot
Right. And that's where someone like Michael can really help.
with his expertise.
Yeah, he can give data-driven advice on how to price it just right.
You know, we've been talking about this fast-paced market.
Yeah.
All this competition and quick decisions.
Mhm.
It makes you wonder about the emotions involved.
Right.
How are buyers and sellers feeling in this kind of environment?
Real estate isn't just about numbers.
Huh.
It's about emotions, too.
For sure.
For buyers, it can be super stressful.
I bet.
Having to make quick decisions, maybe competing with a bunch of other offers.
It's like that fear of missing out.
Exactly. And that can lead to some bad choices.
Yeah.
Buyers need to stay calm and not let their emotions take over.
What about the sellers?
Mm-hmm.
Are they feeling super confident or are they stressed too?
Even though they have the advantage, sellers can feel pressure too.
In what way?
They might feel like they need to get the highest price possible.
Yeah.
Or they might worry about the appraisal coming in low.
So it's not all easy breezy, even for the sellers.
Right. Everyone in a real estate deal is dealing with a lot of emotions. Michael talks about how important it is to manage those feelings.
That makes sense.
Right.
So how does this all relate back to the data we were looking at,
Okay.
especially that increase in inventory?
Right.
Could that be a sign that things are changing emotionally?
It could. Maybe some buyers are getting priced out. Or maybe that fear of missing out is starting to fade.
So it's not just about the numbers themselves.
Right.
It's about how those numbers make buyers and sellers feel.
Exactly. That's what makes real estate so interesting.
Yeah.
It's this mix of data and human psychology.
And that's where having someone like Michael on your side is so valuable.
Absolutely. He gets both sides of it.
So for our listeners out there thinking about jumping into the McHenry market,
Mhm.
whether they're buying or selling,
Right.
what's the one big takeaway they should keep in mind?
Michael would say knowledge is power in this market.
Okay.
You need to know the trends, the data, the ins and outs of McHenry to make smart choices.
So don't just jump in blindly.
Yeah.
Do your research. Talk to a pro like Michael. And be prepared for a wild ride.
Yeah, and remember, this is just a snapshot in time. October 2024. Things can change quickly, so you got to stay informed.
Right, and that's where Michael and his team at Chicago Deal Flow come in.
Exactly.
They're always watching the market, looking at trends, putting all that good stuff on chicagodealflow.com.
Absolutely. Michael really knows what's going on in Chicago real estate.
Mm.
And that expertise is so helpful, whether you're a pro investor or just starting out.
So if you're feeling a little lost or overwhelmed or just want some expert advice,
Right.
chicagodealflow.com is a great place to go.
It's a great resource for anyone interested in McHenry.
Okay.
Michael and his team have in-depth analyses, market updates, even one-on-one consultations.
Sounds like they've got everything you need.
Yeah, they do.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key insight Michael would want our listeners to take away today?
I think he'd say knowledge is power in a market like McHenry.
Right.
Smart decisions come from being informed. You got to understand the market.
Yeah.
Whether you're buying or selling,
Mm-hmm.
getting expert advice can make all the difference.
So do your research, stay informed, and don't be afraid to reach out to the experts. You never know, you might be celebrating a successful closing soon.
Here's to making smart real estate moves.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Thank you.